Alright, so this video might contain some spoilers for the old Swordsmith Village arc or just the manga in general, so you've been warned. Okay, so some of you might be asking where the hell is episode 9, why are you doing episode 10? Well, I recorded everything for episode 9, but I lost the footage for it, and so now I have to redo the old video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do episode 10 right away so I don't get delayed every week with every episode. But if you guys really want my review to episode 9, I will redo it after season 3 ends and we have kind of no new Demon Slayer content. I'll be doing my review to episode 9, so let me know in the comments. Alright, so episode 10 called Love Ashira Mitsuri Kanroji was an amazing episode, definitely one of the best of this season, especially just in terms of animation and adaptation as well. We have a new guy that's working on the episode that we've never seen really on Demon Slayer, but he did do the ending for this season, so it's not his first time on Demon Slayer, but it's his first time working on an episode. He did the storyboarding and the directing of this episode, and I'm really satisfied with his work. I think he did an amazing job, and I definitely want this guy back on Demon Slayer in the future for sure. He's really good. And his name is Yuji Shimizu, so shout out to Shimizu. Not sure if I'm saying his name right, so I'm sorry in advance. So we start the episode with the end of chapter 122, and it's basically just like in the manga where Mitsuri is telling to Zohakuten that she's gonna take Nezuko and Genya back, and Zohakuten is calling her a tramp, basically, just like in the manga, really well adapted. Again, we can see here the compositing with Zohakuten is just so freaking good, like the colors, the shading, everything is just perfect. And here we get to see an attack from Zohakuten, which basically mixed the attack from Urogi and the attack from Sekido with the lightning, which looks super dope. And by the way, I really love the effect that they're using. Every time that Zohakuten hits his drum, there's kind of this just red effect when he's hitting them, so it's cool. We get to see Mitsuri's love breathing, and it's just like in the manga basically, where she cuts the attack itself, and it's just like, just this shot is so beautiful. It's insane how good it looks with the moon, the exposition, and just the glowing of her attack is super good. By the way, I love as well that we can hear some cat noises when she does her attack, which kind of fits with the name of her attacks, which is cool. Here, normally in the manga, we get a narration about Mitsuri and her sword and how kind of she fights, her fighting style. It says that even her techniques are faster than Tengen Uzui. And in the anime, we get a little bit of an explanation like in the manga, but in the anime, Tanjiro is the one narrating it and saying like that the sword is really fast and everything. So we kind of get a little bit of it, but it doesn't say in the anime that she's faster than Tengen. And in the manga as well, it says that she's the only one that can use this weapon as well, which is not really in the anime. Here it's pretty much as in the manga in terms of the fighting, other than one panel in the manga where we kind of just see Mitsuri kind of bouncing off the dragons and doing some splits and just acrobatics. The fight is pretty much the same. I would have loved a little bit of sound here when we get those attacks of air pressure on the ground, but other than that it looks really clean. And like, her fighting style is just so satisfying. She's just doing splits in the air, backflips. It's so like, and just the way she just cuts through the attack through the spear projection basically, and with the effects of love breathing that they're gonna use for every attack basically is with those kind of pink particles mixed with green, a yellow a little bit. Really cool. And here this is where we get a cut from one of the GOAT, Masayuki Kunihiro. He's just one of the best key animators. This whole sequence with Mitsuri getting in close to Zohakuten and Zohakuten doing his blood demon art is just so fluid. One of the best cut of this season, with kind of this fisheye camera here with Mitsuri. It's so good, man. He's so good. And the old blood demon art from Zohakuten is basically just like in the manga as well. Really cool sequence here as well, where we kind of see the perspective of Tanjiro with just Zohakuten spamming the drum and the red effect. It's a really cool sequence. The CGI with the mixed with the 2D is blended so well, man. And here this is where we get a little bit different from the manga. The attack in the manga, she just kind of cuts everything. We don't really see it happening. Here in the anime, we get this amazing amazing cut where we get a shot from really far away where we just see Mitsuri jumping into all the dragons, and then boom, all the dragon just gets cut at the same time with a kind of big explosion of pink. Really cool shots with the sword here, and this shot is just like in the manga with the pink. The compositing is at its best this season for sure. Like every shot looks just so detailed and amazing. Now here, this whole section where Mitsuri says that she made the wrong move and Zohakuten doing his insane move is just like in the manga. It's done exactly, adapted perfectly. The sound effect is just perfect, and I love that it's kind of the same attack as Urogi with the sound blast, but here you can really feel that it's more powerful and more dense. But you compare this to the one that Urogi was doing, this one you can almost not even see the characters. Like it's just, you get the point, it just looks a lot more powerful. Now a little difference from the manga and the anime. In the manga, Mitsuri was able to cut Zohakuten's head off at least a little bit, but Zohakuten just replaces it. Here in the anime, it looks like she didn't cut his head off like at all. And again, this whole section with Zohakuten talking about Mitsuri having a different body constitution, it's just like in the manga as well. Some really great shot from Zohakuten in this episode as well. I mean, just this shot, it just looks so cool. And then we go into her backstory, just like in the manga. This section with Mr. Glasses over here, dickhead, this dumbass, it's just like in the manga basically. And this is where it's a little bit different from the manga. In the manga, normally they're saying that Mitsuri has a special body constitution, that basically she has the muscle density of 8 times a normal person. Here in the anime, we get a lot more anime only content scene with our parent and her as a kid. It's really cool to see that like her parents are just great person. They're just really lovable as well. They kept this section from the manga where Mitsuri lift 33-pound stone or whatever. Again, in this backstory, they're adding a lot of just those little sequences with her parent just laughing with her and just building the relationship with her parents and Mitsuri, so that it makes her backstory a lot more fleshed out and just, you know, I mean, it's not rushed. Here in the manga, it's literally one page where Mitsuri is eating with sumos. Here there's a whole little scene with her parents, she's eating, there's the sumos. Love this anime only sequence here where Mitsuri does arm wrestling against the sumo, so that they can kind of portray that she always has been like super strong. Like they're really emphasizing on the fact that she's been like really strong physically since she was a little kid. And they kind of even convey the message by Mitsuri's dad, where he basically says to Mitsuri that the density of her muscle must be extraordinary. I can't say that word. It's cool that we get this whole sequence here, that we actually see her dyeing her hair black. It's a really cool sequence. I love the shots that they're using in terms of the storyboarding here. It's really cool. Then here, this section where she's asking to herself if this is the right thing to do, to just hide her true self and everything, just like in a manga. It's adapted really well. Really cool CG shot as well with the fish in the water. I mean, Ufotable with their freaking CG 3D water. Everyone's saving her here like in the manga. A little difference here is that in the manga, Tanjiro had his mark when he saves her. Here in the anime, his mark is not activated. I wonder why they decided to do that. Maybe they just want Tanjiro to get his mark when he's fighting. So maybe here, since he's not really fighting, maybe they think that it's not the right time for him to have his mark. I'm not sure. Really cool sequence as well here with Zohakuten and his lightning. It's really cool how huge the scale of his attack is. Here it's looks amazing as well. And here the eye catcher is it's Mitsuri. It's one of the panels at the start of chapter 123, and the second one is basically the cover for chapter 124 with Obanai. Now here with the master after that, just like in the manga, really good. Cool little detail here when she's talking with the Demon Slayer members. She doesn't have her socks yet. Little cool detail. We get a cool little sequence where just just like in the manga, she's saying that it made her feel good saving just the people and them thanking her with the tears in their eyes. They just kind of added this little sequence with her killing the demon. Why does Ufotable always make the filler demons that's not in the manga look like freaking Walmart version of Akaza with their blue marking? Stop it. They want to be Akaza so bad. Now normally in the manga we have literally one panel of Obanai giving the socks to Mitsuri. Here they made a whole little scene with him and Mitsuri just to build this little relationship that they have, which I really think is cool, and it's good for the future of this series for those two. And then we go back into the action, and again it looks amazing, this with her cutting all those dragons effortlessly, just like kind of in the manga as well. Here in the anime we do get a anime only original scene of Mitsuri stopping the dragon with just her bare hands, just to show how strong she is physically, and she says to the others to go kill the real body. Cool little sequence here as well when Zohakuten sees that the others are going for the main body and he tries to follow them. Mitsuri just chases the dragon and go basically kill the dragon in front of him. It's cool. Really cool action sequence here, and we see as well the physics, you know what I mean, the physics. That's a cool shot as well here, she looks badass. And here as well they add in the anime a sequence where Tanjiro smells the real body that's not in the manga. Again, they've been using this a lot this season, this effect, and it's amazing with the camera movement. The camera work is perfect. And after that we get a little sequence from one of the goats. Again, Hironori Tanaka, one of the goats, is so good as a key animator. This whole sequence with Mitsuri dancing on him, literally dancing on Zohakuten. Her fighting style is shining here. And this is kind of like just in the manga as well, where Zohakuten is kind of asking to himself, what the hell did she do? Why is she faster? Like in the manga. Then we get the mark reveal. The shot is just like in the manga. She has a red mark, so that kind of confirms that every Ashura from now on will have a red mark. And on Mitsuri, this mark looks really good. On other Ashiras, I don't know if the red is gonna fit them that well, but I guess we'll just wait and see. And I think this was adapted perfectly. Like I said, it's just like in the manga where he's like, she's gonna run out of strength at some point. She doesn't have infinite stamina, she's human after all. Like her dodging the lightning here, just like in the manga as well. Really cool sequence. And this little sequence just before we switch back to Tanjiro, where we see Mitsuri saying, "You're not gonna get past me." This kind of feels like we might get the fight extended in the next episode. I mean, I really think we're gonna get Mitsuri versus Zohakuten extended fight in the last episode for sure. And to me this kind of improves the chances for us to get some more of Zohakuten versus Mitsuri, just the way she's like, "You're not gonna get past me." This kind of sets up for the final kind of battle between her and him. We'll see. And I could be wrong, but I think they reused this same shot of Atengu 2 times in this episode when Tanjiro found him for the first time when he was smelling him, and now I think this is the exact same shot, so they reused the same shot. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, Ufotable. Nobody's gonna notice that, so it's fine. Cool sequence here as well, where we see the tree fighting back against them, because in the manga it was kind of tough to tell what was happening, so here it's cool to see it just moving. Where Genya bites the tree is like in the manga, and normally in the manga we get a narration explaining how Genya's power works, where basically if he eats demons he gets those demons traits. He gets kind of just demons ability at that point. They kind of explained it in the anime as well, like in the manga. It does say in the manga extra things though about the fact that this is not anyone can do that. This is a special ability that Genya has with his incredible jaw strength and his special digestive organs, which makes it possible for him. And it even says that he's the only one in the Demon Slayer Corp with this talent. And if you don't know as well, in the demon slayer, basically the main cast all have the every senses. Tanjiro is the smell, Zenitsu is the earrings, then you have Inosuke, which is the sense of touch, you have Kano, which is basically our vision, our eyes, and you have Genya, which is taste. He's just tasting those demons. That sounds so bad. Here the whole sequence with them trying to cut this tree in half and everything is like in the manga. I'm not the biggest fan of how the whip looks. They just looks not detailed. I mean, it's nobody really cares about those whips, but it's still just not detailed for Ufotable in my opinion. Now this shot with Nezuko's Blood Demon Art and this 3D rotation camera work here is so good. It's really good. The fire looks amazing. Now something that I'm pretty confused that they're doing here is when Tanjiro is about to use Inokami Kagura, we see the flame of Inokami Kagura, we see Nezuko's flames of our Blood Demon Art on Tanjiro's sword. I don't know how that really works. That makes no sense. Why would Tanjiro have Nezuko's Blood Demon Art like her fire on his sword? That makes no sense to me. Like before when he had the red blade, at least that made a little bit of a sense because he still had kind of Nezuko's power on his blade where it was still red. Here his blade is not red anymore and he hasn't touched Nezuko's Blood Demon Art, which is on the tree yet. So a little bit weird at doing this, but it looks really good. This mix of color with orange and pink is so beautiful that fuck it. When Atengu is running away again, Tanjiro is just mad. I think they adapted that pretty well like in the manga. I think they portrayed Tanjiro's emotion pretty well, like he seems really angry as well like in the manga, so that's good. This is pretty similar as the speech that Tanjiro did to Akaza as well in the Mugen Train here. It's kind of the same thing, it's cool. And basically everything that happens here at the end of this episode is just like in the manga where Atengu is basically having a flashback a little bit of the guy that's calling him a two-faced liar and everything. Good performance as well from the voice actor of Atengu. I think he's doing a really good job. And Genya basically throwing a tree here like in the manga, it's cool. I love that you can really feel the weight of the tree on Genya, like it doesn't feel like the tree is light, you know. And they end the episode with Nezuko launching about to attack Atengu, and here it's pretty interesting that the sky is like really cloudy, like it's about to rain or something, and I would love it for it to rain at least at the start of the next episode. It would really put a really cool ambience and a cool setting for the end of this fight. But I'm not sure if they're gonna just put some rain for like 10 to 15 minutes just for the start of the fight, so we'll see. A little bit of a like weird cliffhanger or just ending with just this frame stopping in the front. I don't know if I like it or not. I feel like it's a little bit weird. Alright, so that was a great episode. I would give this episode maybe a 8.5 out of 10. I think maybe 8.7. I think that was really good adapted. The animation was great. Mitsuri's backstory was great. Now for the last episode of this season, the episode 11, which will be extended, so it's 70 minutes, but this is just the time slot on the TV broadcasting, so it should be around 55 minutes, which is the longest episode that we've gotten in all of Demon Slayer, so it has to be special. They're even broadcasting something at Times Square in New York just to promote this last episode, so they're cooking something, man. It's called A Connected Bound Daybreak and First Light. Daybreak and First Light is the name, the title of chapter 126. A Connected Bound is nothing, so obviously it has to be between Tanjiro and Nezuko, right? So we know when they're talking about a bond between Tanjiro and Nezuko, we know what they cooked last time, episode 19 of season 1. Next episode is really tough to guess where it's going to end. It's either we end on chapter 127 at the basically the end of the Swordsmith Village arc, which is only 3 chapters to cover, but if they do that, they have to add like a ton of anime original content. Like I'm talking 25 minutes, almost 30 minutes worth of anime original content. And my other guess, which could be totally wrong, but I'm gonna go with that, is it might end on chapter 129, where we basically get the all Ashura meeting and the end of the meeting basically with Guillaume saying that he has a proposition, and I could see them taking a scene out of 2 chapters later where there's the Kagaya, the master Master Scroll going to see Tamayo to asking her help. I could see them just picking this scene and just putting it at the end of this episode to make a great cliffhanger for this season. That's my guess. I could be totally wrong, but if it happens, hey, I called it. So don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on my reaction to the finale of season 3, which is gonna be insane. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed those type of videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, see ya.